Okay, combat outcomes, retreat, and what is it? Disruption? Yep, sure. Disruption. Millennium Wars Korea, playing the Mission 1 Unification, turn 1, first player, turn complete. Wait, is first player? Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is. So we'll be starting the second player turn. Wow, Joseph Miranda, thank you. This is really, hitting a desired spot here. But now background. Why am I even playing this now? I am distracted right now. I am. All right. In my work, I'm moving on to China. I'm focusing on China and the Indo-Pacific, but really China. And so I've decided that I'm going to look at acquiring every modern, near future, or even deeper future game that involves especially China and or the Indo-Pacific. And so that's what's behind this. But by the way, I'm hoping that picking up the design here of Millennium Wars Korea, I'm hoping that this is going to help me get back to the what is it, the Dragon versus Bear. Yeah. So I'm thinking that maybe there's enough carryover from this design to Dragon versus Bear. And then, of course, I hope to acquire a few more games in this subgenre. Okay. So what I mean by work, I work. I'm an Army officer. I work in the defense industry, obviously. For the last several years, I've been focusing. My work has been focused almost entirely on Russia, Baltics, Eastern Europe, Caucasus, that area. And then, as things are in this line of work, on a dime, I was switched to and directed to focus East, focus Indo-Pacific, focus China. I'm not a war gamer. I can talk about that another time. Probably a good topic for a video. I enjoy these things on my little bit of free time. That's it. But I think so far this is working out to get my mind into the theater. Obviously, China is not a major player here, but China is a player, is an ally to North Korea here. Anyways, it's all working out. So basically, I want to use war games in my free time to think more about Indo-Pacific and China, or potential conflict between U.S. and China. So far, this is working out. Again, this is just hopefully a gateway to some other designs. And that's that. And what I'm seeing about this design, it's really working. What do I mean by that? I mean, if anything, I might acquire all the Millennium Wars games, and I might take, a robust U.S. order of battle, and then take a robust Chinese order of battle, and I might just make my own maps for different places in the theater, and basically design my own war games to play out some different scenarios. That's what I'm really getting at. As long as the design is close enough, so far it is close enough, So that's what I'm really getting at, right? So even though there isn't, to my knowledge, a Millennium Wars per se U.S.-China conflict, not that I'm aware of, because there's America, there's Ukraine, there's Kashmir, there's Iraq, and there's Korea. I think those are them. Those are it. Anyways, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. So let's get back to it. So this is the first big action here. Got my reminders here. This note number one, is for the outcome of the chits. Here's the outcome, or this is for the outcome of my my combat here. The South Koreans were forced to retreat. Their only option was to retreat right onto Seoul here. You can only stack 2 units per hex, so they were forced to overstack, and you do overstack. You don't handle it any other way. You don't take excess losses. You don't displace back or anything. What you do is you go into the hex, you overstack, and all units are disrupted. Which, by the way, to point out something important, the where is it? There it is. The headquarters was disrupted. First Army South Korean headquarters was disrupted. Okay. So that's what happens. You still retreat. You disrupt everybody in the hex, and then later you're going to handle that very harsh effects of being overstacked there. Very harsh effects. So you want to correct the overstacking as quickly as possible. Also of note that I can't remember what the actual effect is, but they also retreated through enemy Zoc 2. Okay. Note number 2, yes, I advanced. Nothing unusual here. I'm assuming that I can advance up to the stacking limits. I chose, right, because we have an infantry, mech infantry corps, but I specifically chose to advance in armor and a mech infantry corps. Reason being that I'm trying to break out into this clear area here. So might as well send the most mechanized force forward first. So that was that. I don't think there's anything else unusual about the advance after combat here. Oh yeah, this is what I have this note 3 here on the 2. So we've got the 2 special forces divisions here. They have the ignore Zoc ability, self-supply ability, and raid recon or recon force raid capability. Basically, I infiltrated them between the lines here, and that's what allowed that is what allowed the disruption, because if I had not done that and left these guys back up here, then the defenders could have just retreated this way. They could have just retreated this way and not had all this bad stuff happen. So this, certainly a use for these units that ignore Zocs. Okay. 4. Okay, air superiority, turn 1. Note 4. I can't remember what my note was here. The Rock has air superiority. Oh, I know what it was. The North Koreans had +1 for their shock attack special mission rule. Cost them whatever 10 political points, but that was offset by Rock air superiority. So how does that work? So that's a question. When does the North Korean player choose the shock attack special rule, and then when do you figure out? I don't know. I don't have a clear answer to this question right now. Then when do you figure out what air power is? Because obviously air power canceled the special shock attack